Hey, what's up guys, TechTitan here and I'm back again with a brand new video. Before I begin, as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you do enjoy my videos, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. So with that being said, today we're going to be reviewing the brand new BLU Bold N4, and this is basically this company's flagship. So the company BLU is known to making budget phones, and this is no different. However, what they excel at is that this phone is feature packed for under 300 bucks. Actually, when it first launched, they did launch it at $249, which is the price that I paid for this particular model. But right now, you are looking at regular MSRP, which is $299, and that still is a great value. We're definitely going to talk about it, see if it's worth it for you or not. So obviously the first category that we have to discuss here is the design itself. And the design has a special feature, which is that secondary screen, but we're going to talk about that later on. But on the back, you do have the triple camera setup in this sort of plateau thing, similar to the iPhone 17 Pro Max. You get a secondary display. It's a 1.7-inch display. Again, we're going to have a conversation about it later on in a little bit more detail. So another thing that will catch your attention when it comes to design is this sort of a chrome finish that is found all the way around the frame of the device itself. You also on the left hand side will get your volume up and down, which is fairly clicky and tactile, but also on the top you get this sort of a secondary tinny speaker, which we will definitely listen to the speaker quality later on in the video. But yeah, this chrome finish does give it or portrays a more of a premium look and feel. On the bottom you will get your fast charging port, which is 66 watts. You also get your microphone SIM tray as well as your bottom facing speaker. And also on the right hand side you will get your power button and your action button. And I have to say that the placement of these buttons is awkward and doesn't really make sense from an engineering perspective. So they're very similar buttons and it's kind of hard to tell which is which, even after some time of use. So that's something that you have to also get used to. Now overall though, as a design, the back with its sort of matte finish, it is kind of slippery, so I do recommend a case. And by the way, a case is included in the box, but not too shabby for a design. Now the next conversation is the display, and this is definitely a highlight for this device. This is a really nice quality display that I don't think a lot of people will really complain about. So it's a 6.7-inch Full HD Plus display, 120 Hz AMOLED panel, and overall though the bezels may not be the thinnest that you'll ever see on a smartphone, but it's definitely such a high quality AMOLED display and it gets really bright for the most part. And I do have to actually give a shout out to BLU for giving us such a really nice quality display for a phone that is really under 300 bucks. I mean, it's kind of crazy to even think about. So it does have these curves, which you're either going to love them or hate them. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not really the biggest fan of curved displays. They just don't work for me, but I can get used to it. Can't complain too much. And yeah, from watching videos to browsing the web, anything that you would do on this phone, you'd find it very enjoyable from a viewing experience. Watching videos is really nice on this device. Now the speaker is fine. It's not the craziest, but it's also really good for the $299. Take a listen. S25FE, and obviously the S25FE has this sort of a fan edition, more of a cheaper version of the flagship S25, S25 Plus, and S25 Ultra. But to be honest with you, after further testing, in my opinion, the S25FE this time around. Okay, so now I want to switch the conversation to the cameras. So you get a triple camera setup. They say that the third camera is a telephoto, but it's more so of a macro sensor. So you get a 50 megapixel as your main camera. You get an 8 megapixel wide sensor as well as an 8 megapixel macro sensor, 16 megapixel selfie camera, and this phone is capable of shooting 4K video. Now you can use the secondary display as sort of your main sensor, which actually gives you a better overall quality. Now as far as the actual experience itself goes, this phone does take pictures fairly quickly. It's very intuitive and the interface itself is simple enough for a lot of people to go around and mess with. And you can easily switch between your main sensor and your ultra wide. It's very smooth and doesn't really lag too much when it comes to that. Now, as far as the pictures that it takes, they're fine. For a $300 device, they're okay, they'll do the job. The colors are decent. The picture is sharp, but it's not as sharp as I would like it to be, and the color itself is all right, but I feel like this phone's processing is just not it for me. But overall though, as a $300 device that takes some decent pictures, it gets a solid pass. It might not be the best phone that you can buy for the camera experience, but it's fine. Also, the video capability of this phone is decent as well. It's it's gonna get the job done and then some. So I feel like for the people that want to use this phone as a camera, it's gonna be all right. Check the video out. See, but it does pretty well, and it can actually shoot in 4K, and it does a decent job in focusing on subjects and giving you that sort of a bokeh background. And exposure seems to be pretty decent. Now you cannot switch between your main sensor and your ultra wide while shooting video, which is kind of disappointing, but for the most part, not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. So now I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the secondary 1.7-inch AMOLED display, which can be very useful if you use it correctly. So you can act as your camera viewfinder if you want to take some high quality selfie instead of using the 60 megapixel selfie camera. So you get a thumbs up for that. You can record video on it, you can either take pictures, or you can control your music player on it, your recorder, stopwatch. So it does have options for some widgets, your alarm, your timer, and you can add some more in the settings. You can mess with that in the settings, but overall though, it's a very useful secondary screen. Now, here's the thing about it. It did lag a little bit from time to time, so keep that in mind. Hopefully that can be fixed with software updates in the future, but the company BLU itself is not really known for reliable software updates. Now, the topic of performance is also something interesting about this device. So first, the in-display fingerprint sensor is okay as well. It's not the fastest, but it works pretty much most of the time. And from a Geekbench perspective, these synthetic benchmark scores are also average. So 1077 for your single core, 3284 for your multi-core. Now, if we want to get a little bit deeper in specs, this phone does use the MediaTek Dimensity 7300 based on a 4nm architecture. It does also have your Cortex A78 for your GPU, and it does have an AI neutral processing unit called the MPU 655, a massive 512 gigabyte of internal storage, 8 gigabytes of standard RAM, and 24 gigabytes of extra RAM that uses the storage as sort of a RAM booster. So the reliability as far as performance is also decent. It's not the best, it's a mid-range performer, but it's been consistent for the most part. And the battery life, I say, is the worst thing about this phone. For a phone at this size that supports 2 AMOLED displays and AI features, it's not the greatest, but it's fine. Gaming on this phone, as far as I'm concerned, is also pretty decent. The phone did get warm while I was playing heavy demanding games, but it never got hot or uncomfortable. So the cooling technology on this phone is pretty decent. The efficiency is also decent. And so overall though, I didn't really see too much thermal throttling on this device. It did get slower at times, but nothing that was alarming or nothing that was too dramatic. Overall though, whenever I played games on it, it performed just as well as I expected. So for a phone at this price point, the $299 price point, it did its job and then some. So I can't really be too mad at it. Yeah, so definitely enjoyable experience, especially using the device as a gaming device, powered by this AMOLED screen. It can definitely get the job done. So my overall experience when it comes to the Blue Bold Nord N4, I feel like this phone targets a demographic that is looking for a somewhat of a mid-range unlocked device. So you can pick it up for $299 plus tax on Amazon right now, and you get a full charger in the box, a case, headphones. I mean, you don't really see that nowadays in smartphones. So you get the full power and then some with this device. Now, is it a perfect phone? Absolutely not. Is it going to be for everyone? Not really. Is there competition to this phone? Nah, it's kind of tough. I mean, the only phone that I can think of, but then it would be more expensive than this device, would be something like the Moto G Power. I think that would be an interesting comparison. So I definitely should make that happen. But with that being said, I mean, you tell me, how do you feel about the Blue Bold N4? First of all, the naming is not it, but yeah, tell me how you feel about it. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is it a phone that is worth looking at? Let me know in the comments below, and I will definitely catch you guys in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. You never know, I might be giving this one away.